Today's sermon is called Leave No Trace. I have to tell you, I have an ongoing grumbling with my husband that goes like this. Just pick up after yourself. Put away what you get out. Put the trash in the trash can. Clean your dish and put it in the dishwasher. Wipe down the counters and the cutting board if you've used it. Put the recyclable things in the recycle bin. Do your part, for goodness sakes. Do you have this grumbling at your house, either with your partner or your kids? Because that's what this sermon is about. Not my grumbling to my husband, but what I'm grumbling about. It's about our seventh principle that says we promote and affirm respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. The UUA states, UUs acknowledge that reality consists of a complex and interconnected web of relationships. Actions taken seemingly in isolation often have far-reaching effects, and responsible behavior includes being mindful of these potential consequences. In this principle, Unitarian Universalists broadly define that web of all existence. It includes one's community and environment. It's all-encompassing and helps each one of us understand society, culture, and nature while trying to support it the best we can. It's acknowledging that we are all interconnected and part of the world community, including you, including my husband, including all of us. This is about how we impact others, sometimes not even knowingly how we impact the environment, also sometimes not even knowingly. It's about raising our awareness level to understand what we do or don't do impacts the world one way or another, either in a positive way or a negative way. This sermon is about getting out of being part of the problem and becoming part of the solution. I want to tell you a story. When our children were little, we'd go to the park to play, and afterwards we'd finish by cleaning up, not just our own trash, but any little speck of trash we could find. Sometimes the kids would grumble that they didn't make the mess, so why did they have to clean it up? And I would say, because one thing we have to learn is how to take care of nature and each other. This is our home, so we have to keep it nice. We'd make a game out of it. Who could find the most trash? And it was fun. They would get down on their hands and knees and squeal with joy if they found even a small little scrap of paper or confetti hidden among the grasses. We would strive to clean up for those before us and to leave no trace that we had been there for those to come. So why am I talking about this? Because the camping and travel season is upon us. How can we do it better this year than we have in years past? Are you a camper, a traveler? I was thrilled to learn there is a National Forest Outdoor Code of Ethics already written for us. There's even a Leave No Trace Center of Outdoor Ethics, promoting conservation in the outdoors. I was happy to learn about this for two reasons. First of all, I was surprised to learn the National Park Service follows 7 principles, just like we do. They have 7 principles about leaving no trace. I like that 7 principle idea. And I like the National Park Service idea as well, because my younger son, Eric, just started his new job last Monday with the National Park Service as a wildland firefighter in a national forest in southern Idaho. He will be learning these same 7 principles as part of his new job at the same time I'm presenting them to you. It was wonderful coincidence and serendipity. The Park Service is working to figure out how to have 0 landfill trash. They have posted these 7 principles that I will read to you in a minute. First of all, they begin with a big sign that says, thoughtful campers respect other visitors and protect the quality of their experience. And another sign reads, here is the outdoor code. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, to be considerate in the outdoors, both to other campers and to the animals, to be conservation minded. So how do we do this? Here are the 7 principles the rangers suggest. Number 1, plan ahead and prepare. Proper trip planning and preparation help hikers and campers accomplish trip goals safely and enjoyably while minimizing damage to natural and cultural resources. If you plan ahead, you can bring your food in recyclable containers and minimize your trash. And of course, make sure and bring your water in reusable water containers. Suggestion number 2, travel and camp on durable surfaces. Damage to the land occurs when visitors trample the vegetation or communities of organisms beyond recovery. The resulting barren areas develop into undesirable trails, campsites, and soil erosion. So here are the tips from the National Forest Service. In high use areas, campers should concentrate their activities where vegetation is already absent. Minimize resource damage by using existing trails and selecting designated or existing campsites. Keep campsites small by arranging tents in close proximity. In more remote, less traveled areas, campers should generally spread out. When hiking, take different paths to avoid creating trails that cause erosion. When camping, disperse tents and cooking activities, moving camp daily to avoid creating permanent looking campsites with dead grass under the tents. Avoid places where impacts are just beginning to show. Always choose the most durable surface available: rock, gravel, sand, compacted soil, clay, dry grasses, or snow. You can always use a blow-up mattress to sleep on these hard surfaces. Principle number 3, dispose of waste properly. As the Boy Scouts teach, pack it in and pack it out. This simple yet effective saying motivates backcountry visitors to take their trash home with them. It makes sense to carry out of the backcountry the extra materials taken there by you or your group or others. Inspect your campsite for trash or spilled food before you leave. Accept the challenge of packing out all of your trash, even the little bits of paper hiding in the tall grasses, all your leftover food and litter. Put it in your car and take it with you. Then when you get home, recycle everything you can. Wastewater. Help prevent contamination of natural water sources. After straining food particles, properly dispose of dishwater by dispersing it at nearly 200 feet from springs or streams and lakes. That is, throw out biodegradable soap and water 200 feet or more from a natural water source. What about human waste? Proper human waste disposal helps prevent the spread of disease and exposure to others. Cat holes 6 to 8 inches deep in humus and 200 feet away from water, trails, and campsites are often the easiest and most practical way to dispose of feces. Or you can dig a hole and put your porta potty over it. Then at the end of your camping time, fill the hole back up with the dirt you dug out. I have a good friend who always travels with a spade and her porta potty in the trunk of her car. We laughed at her when she first told us this, but now in retrospect, it's not a bad idea. She and her husband often take long driving trips, so instead of having to find a gas station in the middle of nowhere, they pull over to the side of the road, dig out a little hole in the ground, set up their porta potty, and they're good to go. Then they fill the hole back up with the dirt they dug out, and they are back on the road. Principle number 4, leave what you find. Allow others a sense of discovery and preserve the past. Leave rocks, plants, animals, archaeological artifacts, and other objects as you find them. Examine, but do not touch cultural or historic structures and artifacts. In fact, it may be illegal to remove these artifacts, even in Indian flint. I know, for example, it is illegal to break off a piece of the coral reef off the coast of Key West for a souvenir. It's the same with campsites. Don't take rocks or a baby raccoon or anything that's natural from them. Leave things as you found them. Good campsites are found, not made. Avoid altering a site, digging trenches, or building structures. Again, leave your campsite as you found it. Principle number 5, minimize campfire impact. Some people would not think of camping without a campfire, yet the naturalness of many areas has been degraded by overuse of fires and increasing demand for firewood. Lightweight camp stoves make low-impact camping possible by encouraging a shift away from fires. Stoves are fast, eliminate the need for firewood, and make cleanup after meals easier. True leave no trace fires are small too. Use dead and downed wood that can be broken easily by hand. When possible, burn all the wood to ash and remove all unburned ash and food from the fire ring. If a site has 2 or more fire rings, dismantle all but one and scatter the materials in the surrounding area. Be certain all wood and campfire debris is out completely, however, remembering the famous words of Smokey the Bear, only you can prevent forest fires. Principle number 6, respect wildlife. Quick movements and loud noises are stressful to animals. Your being in their environment at all is stressful in itself. According to the National Forest Rangers, considerate campers practice these safety methods. Observe wildlife from afar to avoid disturbing them. Give animals a wide berth, especially during breeding, nesting, and birthing seasons. Store food securely and keep garbage and food scraps away from animals so they will not acquire bad habits. Never feed the wildlife. Help keep wildlife wild. And here's a clue. You are too close if an animal alters its normal activities. Back off, get your binoculars out, and enjoy. And finally, principle 7, be considerate of other visitors. Thoughtful campers respect other visitors and protect the quality of their experience. Remember, we are one. We are all interconnected. This reminds me of the instructions we get from flight attendants. After you use the restroom, wash your hands and then use the paper towel to dry them and to pat the sink and counter dry so it is nice for the next person. Yeah, let's do that. Leave it nice and clean and in order for the next camper. Remember, we are all part of the world community. You have the power to make things nice for the next person or not. Remember Kid President's words to us. We're on the same team, right? So let's start acting like it. The National Park Service has been doing research for the last 3 years in 3 national parks: Yosemite National Park in California, the Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming, and the Denali National Park and Preserve in Alaska. Their goal is to better understand how park managers can achieve waste management goals through effective education and management strategies, as well as teaching these 7 principles. They have experimented with posting signs that say, you have the power to either help or harm the health of this park. They have 3 recycling bins that are hooked together with signs on each of them. Bin number 1, plastic bottles. Bin number 2, glass. And bin number 3, aluminum cans. On the outside of this triple bin, they have a sign that says, recycle in the right bin. Furthermore, the data reveals that moral norms and ease are important for park visitors and can be targeted in future messaging in parks and surrounding communities, online, on signage, and in other printed materials. Such messages could reinforce visitors' sense of the right thing to do in national parks and surrounding areas, as well as focus on how easy it is to help the parks and make it nice for the next campers. In 2018, 2019, and 2020, research was done in these 3 national parks looking for the impact of the signage. What they found out was it worked. Results from all 3 studies suggest that backcountry visitors and campers are predisposed to engage in environmentally responsible behavior that benefit and protect the national parks. In the front country of the park, however, where the restrooms and the snack bars and the souvenir shops are, not so much. They found the signage was very helpful. Trash going to landfills was reduced by almost half. I remember in Nepal when we were trekking through the forest up a mountain. There were not only signs about taking care of your trash, there were signs written on bark hanging from trees that said, pray for peace. It worked. Each time we reached a plateau, we would find a makeshift temple and people surrounding it praying for peace. We can have an impact. My fantasy is having enough money to rent billboards throughout Houston that have encouraging messages on them. If you had the chance to hang something on a billboard, what would it say? I want to write, be kind to everyone you meet. I want to write, people are starving for love. Open your heart to them. I want to write, call someone you know who is lonely. I want to write, you are magnificent. Don't forget. I want to write moral norms too, words encouraging responsibility. Take good care of yourself. You matter. Take good care of others and the earth. Minimize your trash. Don't buy things that are overpackaged. Use reusable water bottles, not one-time use. Bring your cloth bag to the grocery store. Pray for peace. Kindness is contagious. I want to write, we are all interconnected. I want to put all of these things on billboards and famous quotes too. We must be the change we wish to see in the world by Gandhi, and so much more. They did research in these 3 parks for 3 years, 2017, 2018, and 2019. They increased their signage. People responded. Bag it, take it with you. They did. More visually engaging signage is likely warranted on and around the infrastructure too, both to capture visitor attention and to influence proper disposal. For example, I know I am more engaged on a Southwest Airlines flight with the cabin instructions because they make it interesting. They sing or they joke or they hold up funny signs, and so I listen. The national foresters are coming up with ways to do the same thing, to educate and to entertain, and it's working. We are saving things that are going to the landfill. What about you? What can you do to leave no trace, to make it nice for the next person or the next generation? It's as simple as this. Pick up after yourself. Put yourself away. Don't litter. Not only will you make your partner happy, but you will be doing your part to take care of the world community. When we toss a rock into a pond, it creates ripples. It's the same in life. What we send out into the universe creates ripples, the full extent of which we may never know. But I do know this, it happens in your life, in my life, every day. What are you sending out? Are you caring for yourself, the people in your life, the environment? How are you impacting those you live with? Your children, your grandchildren? How are you impacting those you work with? Think about this. How are your ripples impacting the world? I want to say to you, I love you and I encourage you. Blessed be and amen.